It's always that end of year period that hits hardest. It's either a dance of victory or a time to reflect on yourself with sincerity. Looking back to look forward. To appreciate what's worth keeping and becoming wise enough to know what to throw away. 2021 has been one of the most beautiful, painful, and soul-shifting years I've ever experienced. And it's my own twisted brand of therapy to create and share. Laugh, and the world laughs with you. Weep, and you get less fucking likes. To hell with it. It's been a year of diving into the completely unfamiliar and uncomfortable, physically and spiritually. In January, my brother and I flew out to Grants Pass, Oregon to meet our father again for the first time in 20 years. To say that a dark subconscious mental cloud was evaporated would be an understatement. It bridged a titanic gap and reignited a lighthouse we never thought we'd see again. One hell of a way to embark on a new year and a new beginning in a multitude of ways. In February, I said goodbye to Los Angeles, my friends, my car, and my brother before packing up a truck with everything I owned to move across the states with my girlfriend. Both of us making sacrifices to roll the dice on a new life. The next 6.5 months felt like a fragmented dream. The dizziness of freedom. What wasn't that long ago feels like decades ago in my mind's eye. And I've never felt so vulnerable and so alive. So profoundly lost and so strangely found. The heart's journey on a highway from Oregon to California, to Las Vegas, to Tucson, to Roswell, to Dallas, to what was a longer than expected stop in Louisiana. Lines in the sand were pointing to a new life in Florida, but I quickly learned what we all do at many points in our lives. Man makes plans, and God laughs. 2021 has been a big, defining chapter with so many perplexing footnotes and scribbled indecipherables in the margins of madness. But I'm not here to expound on the unforgiving human flaws between people in tragic situations, but rather the relationship with myself and the realizations that landed on me throughout this year because of it. In between the half year spent in Cajun country, it's wild to think of the small detours, like the part of the dream where you don't know how it just cuts and suddenly you're somewhere else but your mind just goes with it. The cut to Tampa Bay, the cut to Tucson, the cut to Los Angeles, the cut to New York, the cut to Miami, and a final cut to Nashville, where the pressure valves burst and the burning embers of misfortune hit the hotel curtains and everything caught fire while drowning in its own acid-soaked country song. Within days, I found myself in the middle of the birth of a tropical storm in New Orleans, drinking rum in the rain, staring at Creole cottages and consulting tea leaves and tarot cards in the French Quarter. Something comfortable about being somewhere stuck in time. If nothing was going to make sense, I was forced to make sense out of nothing. The cinematic poetry of having to begin a 20-hour drive through a raging tempest, watching the black clouds in my rear-view mirror swirl into a final goodbye. It was back to the desert, watching greenery slowly fade into hardened beige, whipping past all the shallow, unmarked graves to pick up whatever remained, with the blessings of good family and good friends, the warm blankets in life's periodic frozen tundras. From magnolia and moss-covered oak to aloe vera and sunburned saguaro. Hitting rock bottom isn't always a drug addiction or losing all your money or family or friends. Sometimes rock bottom is just your heart, mind, and soul running on empty, like the gas tank of hope suddenly got hit by shrapnel, the trap door of your own expectations giving out. But the one thing about falling on your ass so hard is that you spend too much time looking up at the distant light you fell from. The thing they never tell you is that there's a buried treasure at the bottom, but only if you're strong enough to break the rock with a sledgehammer. Days and weeks and months went by where I hated myself. I loved myself, I regretted things, and then finally found appreciation and gratitude, even more. I was practicing kintsugi with my own consciousness. It was a good friend, sheer fortune, and a long, elusive intention that had me ending the year in the Yucatan Peninsula. It was not forced naivety under a false prayer that a change of scenery or people would fix a damn thing. Nor was it the hope that it would stifle the beating drums of my internal demons. Maybe it was just as simple as the Caribbean Sea being a perfect backdrop to reflect on life and its absurdities in the good company of familiar strangers and internationals. My inane, rum coconut thoughts to be heard only by dead Dutch, French, Spanish, and British pirates. The lingering sense of violence hanging over every corner, every taco stand and overpriced tourist shop, as the Mexican National Guard stood armed with assault rifles. In the middle of this beautiful unfamiliarity, I was able to come to terms with my own self-imposed hells in order to reach a new heaven. It was pouring beautiful chaos into the cup of unpredictability I've already been holding on to. I spent a month drinking from the cup and found some universal wisdoms in the white sands. After dodging jalopies and wild dogs on bicycle, that is. Do not judge yourself because of things you can't control. You do your best, and you're on your own journey. People, places, and things serve their purpose in your journey, and you have to keep on shining your own light and forging your own path. Swimming in circles will just attract sharks. Life is one big river that is calm at times and raging in others. You keep floating and meeting others on your river. Some join your raft, some drift away. Sometimes you can tie yourself to a shoreline, but the water continues flowing regardless. Intuition is in your gut. Intuition is that annoying fairy from Ocarina of Time. Don't ignore it. The most significant thing to realize is that at the end, the greatest battle will always be with yourself. The mirror can be your greatest ally or your greatest enemy. Things change. People come, people go. Friends and lovers become strangers. New places and experiences happen. Old pain resurfaces and new challenges always arise, but you only have yourself to answer to. Accepting what is not for you is wisdom. Forgiving, especially forgiving yourself, is divinity. The only closure you need in life is the closure you can give yourself. Life is unfair. There's no fine print to make sense of any of it. Things will happen that will make you think karma is a joke. But you gotta keep on anyway. I'm not exactly where I thought I'd be at this point in life, but I have to constantly remind myself that nobody has a fucking crystal ball. And everyone has their own past, their own bullshit to conquer, and their own path. Everyone has their own stairs to climb, and everyone has their own view to enjoy at the top. And there, you can only meet people who are willing to meet themselves truthfully. You come to realize that sometimes the only difference between a curse and a blessing is only time. One of the greatest and most painful truths I've had to confront is that of personal responsibility and accountability. What happens to me is my fault, nobody else's. Own your shit. Confront your mistakes. External forces dictate emotions and circumstances, but ultimately I made choices that put me on trajectories that were not built on solid ground. And like a child touching a hot stovetop, burns will teach you a lesson. And in life and in pain, you can either be spiteful or grateful. That choice right there will dictate everything else in your life. Sometimes you just have to jump without looking. Impulsivity and saying yes to risk can either be bliss or pain, but no matter what, it will bring you wisdom. Do it or don't do it. You will regret both. Some years and some cycles are less painful than others. Some break you, some mold you, and some kill parts of you only so you can grow stronger in the graveyards of your past selves. 2021 taught me the art of letting go. Not of memories, not of love, just letting go of the need to control. It's something I've never really been good at. The harder you grip onto something, the more it breaks. 2021 taught me the art of perspective. It taught me that life is always in flux. You can't choose or change what happens to you, but you can choose how to react. And you can choose to learn, and you can choose to be better. To know and honestly internalize what is healthy for you and what is not. To find freedom in naked truths and trust in the universe. Never forgetting that it's okay to take a break from time to time to find yourself again in the fog. Going to be grateful for this thing called life in 2022, because life is beautiful and life goes on. Salute, my friends.